enough from us. Let's hear what Odo Wamne has to say, because QuickShot is standing by for the interview.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined by Odo, first and foremost. Congratulations for the 2-0. We have to talk about that game because it looked like H2K was about to throw. What went wrong? How did you guys let Fnatic back into that game?
Well, I don't really remember much because we made that game so much more chaotic than it was supposed to be. I just remember we got Nash at one point and we were winning really hard because they had poor map assignments. And then I think we got caught bot side and we overextended mid for the tower, I think, instead of just staying 2-1-3-1, because me on the side lane with Ryu and Fizz on the side lane and with Fed Draven on mid, they didn't really have control of the map, and then we were like, okay, we're so far ahead and we should just group into a 1-4 or just 5 and try to engage it. And then we had some sloppy fights because we didn't play with true to what our comp does and how we should team fight. So I guess that's what happened. We just thought we could close out so much easier, and then we kind of let go of the game.
It looks to be the case, but you managed to pull it back in. And last team fight, very convincing. It seems to have been a little bit of a shaky start to the summer split. 4 days worth of games, and today was the strongest showing from H2K. Has it been an adjustment coming into summer with Freeze and with the new meta and the new format?
Well, with the new patch, there's meta changes to everything, including top lane, AD carry, supports, pretty much everything. So we had that against us. And we had to adjust to Freeze as well, because we just play different as a team, and we still kind of need to figure out how to properly play to our strengths. Like, even this week, I think it wasn't our greatest showing, even though we got 2 times 2-0. I think we could have played a lot better, and we still kind of played sloppy, but I think we're getting better, and I think we're going to keep improving from here.
As an outside observer, it looks like you guys are definitely getting better with every single game day. So that's at least a small positive. You mentioned the meta. You've mentioned the patch. It's been a crazy week for the EU LCS. We've seen, I think 12 or 13 brand new picks. How much has the top lane changed? We've seen a bunch of that allow. We've seen Aurelia coming back in. Obviously, you're playing a lot more of the Gnar recently. What else is changing?
Well, since the support meta changed to squishy picks, more Assassin's Top are coming in, let's say Aurelia, Fizz, and stuff like that. And since Aurelia and Fizz are more meta, and Maokai got nerfed, Echo got nerfed, we don't see Maokai anymore, because Maokai can get counter-picked in lane, and those other picks are like more snowbally and can snowball the map a lot better. So I think Gnar is okay, because he's kind of a mix between tank and bruiser, so he does a really good job at that. But Aurelia is really strong as well. We saw Illaoi, and I think she's good, but it just takes a lot of practice for teams to figure out how she can do, because she has no CC, but she has a lot of damage and teamfight presence. So I guess it will just keep on changing according to other roles as well.
Well, we'll have to see if things start to settle down. Just one last question, Odo Wamne. Next week, you guys are playing against G2 Esports. What are you looking forward to in that matchup? Kikis, he was subbed out yesterday with Expect, and the performance wasn't great, but what are your anticipations for that matchup?
I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. If we keep on improving like we did from week 1 to week 2, I think it's going to be a really good matchup, a really close matchup. And with Kikis and Expect in the top lane, I don't really care that much, because I just think they're at the same level, so I don't really care who I play against.
Well, we'll have to find out who comes out on top. Once again, congratulations on the 4-0 week. We're going to head back up to the analyst desk to close out the series.
Thanks, QuickShot. Always a very informative interview with Odo Wamne, talking about the top lane meta and meta in general. But bottom line, 4-0 this week with a fantastic, resounding victory over Fnatic. How much did Fnatic's draft help them in this one?
Well, it didn't really help them at all. They
well,
again,
yeah, for H2K.
So for Fnatic, their draft, again, it wasn't ideal. We're still seeing a lot of priority on this Gragas top. It was actually first rotated out by Fnatic, and it makes me wonder what else is actually available in Gamsu's champion pool. We've actually seen him sticking to tanks in the first 2 weeks, whereas most of the other top laners in Europe right now are shifting more towards, as you heard, QuickShot and Odo Wamne talking about the Aurelia, the Fizz, even the Illaoi. So we're seeing more of these damage bruisers as opposed to full-on tanks.
And that's the thing is, like Odo Wamne himself, we always spoke about how good his Gnar was, and he talked about it, the actual limitations on top lane champions right now, that a lot of them just end up losing those matchups, and you can't really get yourself in a situation to keep on going. But it's further down the draft. The Draven is there. There was no Draven ban in this game. And you could be easily fooled by saying, you know, it was a one-time thing, we'll prepare for it this time a little bit better. It's just the same thing happened again. I mean, Freeze just goes off on Draven. In the team fights, outside of the team fights, everything just seems so comfortable for him on Draven.
I mean, it might be to us, oh yeah, it is his signature champion, but it isn't that often that someone's signature champion fits in a game where the meta is bonkers and you can do it twice in a row. However, he got a good setup again.
Yeah, he certainly did. His team giving him a lot of early kills in the, thanks to the early pressure that they put down onto Kalista, and simply setting up this Draven for success is exactly what H2K need to do, and we were wondering how well they were going to do integrating Freeze. They've done a great job so far.
Yeah, and it helps when you go 4 for 3 in the mid lane and Draven just picks up 2 kills. So we were taking a look at that fight and looking at exactly how the impact went. And, you know, for Freeze, this is the beginning of that snowball that ultimately allowed him to carry.
It certainly was. I mean, this flank setup from the Fnatic wasn't actually that bad. The big problem was Reckless sitting right next to the turret allowed Ryu to easily get onto the backline, and then Freeze himself had free access onto Febiven. And when you have a Draven just doing whatever he wants in a team fight, that's where things start to go wrong.
Props to Fnatic, however, it looked like it would snowball completely out of control as fast as it did in game 1, but they managed to put a halt on it, not get picked into fights when they didn't want to, try to put pressure on the map elsewhere, but in the process, they gave up 5 dragons, and in the end, after sneaking the Baron away, it just sealed their fate for them.
Yeah, it certainly didn't go the way in which Fnatic wanted. We do have one more replay to show you guys because this is pretty much where things start to go wrong. After
I mean, they already went pretty
yeah, Fnatic had gotten themselves the Baron, the Dragon, the Elder Drake, sorry, had been picked up by H2K, and this is the power of Elder Drake when you have Ryu in a 2 versus 1, easily picking himself up those picks in the top lane, and then the rest of H2K using all of the advantages that they had just slowly start to close this out.
Yeah, and Ryu is also our player of the game in this one. Obviously, the big stats for Draven again on Freeze, but his Fizz, Ryu, that's something that we've known for a while now. It's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying when Ryu's on form, so a good performance out by Ryu as well. Honestly, a player that has been a little quiet along with Jankos previous games, only had a couple of showings in their games before, so glad to see he's coming back.
Yeah.
Game 1, he also played phenomenally with that Victor. He was a large part as to why they were able to turn those fights around, so well-deserved to reap.
Yeah, and great stuff for H2K, looking a lot stronger and going with a 4-0 on the week. Before we take a break, we're going to also check in with what happened on LCS2. UOL Giants, I hear there was a pentakill.
There was a pentakill. There was a quadra that was earned, and then there was like a setup where Sunstar, believe it or not, got himself the pentakill, got the 5th kill. Giants looked a lot more comfortable in Game 2 of this series, and a lot of that was UOL with a bit of a weird draft. They picked Nautilus top into a Maokai at that point as well. Just a very weird draft. Overall, Unicorns just fell behind, couldn't really keep up with things, and Giants actually looked better in the early game.
Yeah, we'll show you that Penta and the stuff from Giants later in the post-game lobby as well, but I do first want to get one word out of you, Vedius, because you were looking at Knight, you believed in Knight, and he shredded it this 2 games.
Yes, so the reason why I love Knight so much is because my last name is Day, and because we contrast opposite attract, that's the reality that we're faced with, but also because he is a great mid laner.
Though.
He is also a great mid laner, and he has been doing some great work. He did have some shaky plays on the Azir, but other than the early game, he actually synergized very well with Maxlore, and together they set up some really nice plays.
A lot of
he actually got himself a quadra kill too. So.
Yeah, he did. And a lot of you mid laners have shaky performances on Azir, so it's all good in the end. There's still 1 score left to settle this week between Schalke and Origin. We'll be back to dial in on that matchup in just 3.5.
On top, Fnatic looking to tie this up 1-1, and H2K will be happy to have the 2-0. Goes in, no, not gonna land it. Fate's Call comes out. Yellow Star comes in late, but first blood to Draven again.
From Gragas!
Azir node!
Kha'Zix!
Azir has nothing!
Kha'Zix,
no?
Flash back with the all. Kha'Zix gets the Baron, but Ryu's here as well. Reckless burns down. The rest of H2K ready to back up. Ryu flash to safety. Febby all alone. The axe follows him over the wall. And H2K are going to pick up the 2-0